acts of terror or acts involving the harm of civilians in combat, then there is the possibility that you would face exclusion from the Refugee Convention. But at the moment, while we're still a signatory to the ECHR, you'd still be able to get protection under that, protection and humanitarian protection status here in the UK. And I think it's important that people set out the full basis for their need for asylum as early as they can, rather than trying to minimise their involvement or to withhold details about what led to them having to flee Sri Lanka.
And also one more point I would like to add. In the case of MP and NT versus SSHD in the Court of Appeal, the court found that you don't need to have been a significant diaspora activist to succeed in a Tamil asylum claim. But in practice, the Home Office has been ignoring that. And therefore, as a safeguard, I think even though you have managed to establish your refugee status in the past, you should continue to take part in diaspora activities and collect evidence of those activities and show it to the Home Office or tribunal that you have been involved in diaspora activities as well. That's an important to do. And in terms of groups and communities that can do things collectively, can you add some?
I think, the community organizations need to play a role now, because early days it was a different kind of a dilemma or different approach of policy. How many organizations is ready to do that, and do they have the capacity to do that, is one of the key questions. But I think the way forward is that we need to bring those groups together and then create a kind of an awareness and make them to understand, and then see how best they can play a role, advising and guiding. And then I think the saddest part is, in my personal humble opinion, is that we failed from 1985 to see the Tamils being recognized as a persecuted race. All the lawyers, everybody, simply as soon as they get a temporary admission or ILR or leave to remain or
we did apply in the case of
we failed. I'm sorry, because we failed to recognize Tamils being scattered all over the world as asylum seekers, as refugees. They have been recognized under the different countries' policies and laws which was introduced. Tamils created a policy change in UK. The Carriers Liability Act is first where the Tamils was involved, and then you can see until now where we are. But end of the day, there are so many people that have been given protection on an individual basis, but not as a collective basis, as a persecuted race. So that's also one of the saddest parts. I just wanted to mention that. The way forward is, I think we need to come together now, like late 80s or mid 90s, the way we organize campaigns and rallies to understand. And now I'm happy to hear, brother, that you started again, because we had several individuals and groups came out, and then it's gone, because there's no solidarity, because we need to work with other communities in order to change the policy, because we can't. It's not a funding issue, it's a spirit. Because I got involved, that the way, because I feel sad that we don't have the personal responsibility sometimes as individual asylum seekers, and not coming forward and not taking up the case. They depend on the community organization or the lawyers to write up the case themselves. So we need to be open and transparent about the genuine issue here, to see how best we can help the community to protect it.
And then what are the Tamil diaspora groups to lobby the government to change its policy?
I think Tamil diaspora need to play a greater role, because wherever they have influence, they need to.
So far they have been shying away from this. I haven't heard a major diaspora organization taking this forward as a major campaign.
I think now the conference said a way forward, the TIC should.
Okay, that's one organization.
And Tamil Solidarity Day supporting refugee rights campaign.
Yeah.
So far we have done 3 protests, and I forgot to tell one demand we put forward: shut down the detention center, because we're not criminals to put in detention center. We came from a country because of the life care, and we're never going to go back to the same country again. So why is they having a...
Because there could be a general election any time, next year or year after. And surely the Tories will win the Tamil votes, and all the parties, the Labour and Lib Dems too. So that's why I think it has been, it should be used, the refugee issue should be put at the forefront.
Are there any parts of the world considering us more generously than these situations? Because
Canada.
as solicitors, you may have known some, you know, very useful for people.
In Canada,
The equation is the Canada on the top,
Oh, I
and
thought
then
it
you
was-
can see Australia, where they are putting them even in the morning news
Okay.
about the islands where they put all their asylum seekers, so you can see the difference.
and the UK is following the Australian.
Russia, even Russia, Russia.
We have to ask Putin, we will find out.
On the evidence of when you said about when people gave the evidence to OSR, for example, we collected the evidence for OSR, and some people are requesting the letters. You specifically said something about it has to be the letter had to be specific. So what can be specific, because most of them are given under the oath.
Sorry, Mani, can we continue that discussion later? Keisha will be here for a while, because it's time to wrap up.
Yeah.
And so, one is the major Tamil diaspora groups. They have to take the refugee issue as a main campaign issue. And the second, what are the politicians you can do? I mean, you have our friend Jeremy Corbyn as the leader of the Labour Party. And you should really ask him to, I mean, someone has to start, so Labour has to start first.
It's not really the Labour or Tory or Lib Dem. It has to come from the heart of the individual. I've always advocated, for the theme. I'm a refugee, right? So I never shy away to say myself as a refugee. I'm very proud to say as a refugee, because we as a refugees has achieved many things. Right? That we need to be seen that right protection, self-respect and dignity through the asylum process.
That's what Nigel Farage says as well.
Yeah.
But
I'm not of course, that we have the diaspora has a kind of an influential position on Tamils for Labour, Tamils for Tory groups are there, and then there are other political groups. We need to see how best we can use the political influence, and also, as you rightly said, about the votes in that area. Many MPs in London understand their situation where they get more votes from the Tamils, and also outside London. I think if we start lobbying parallelly about the Tamils' rights, or what do they call, the justice and war crime and various themes, when we lobby the parliamentarians here, all party, we need to see whether we can take up the same time the asylum issue as well. We need to see how best we can able to do that. I think there's a all party parliamentarians group for Sri Lanka as well as for the Tamil, so we can use those two themes through the political process.
thank you. So as a final summary, I think we would like to conclude by saying it's very important to have quality legal representation, and we have to be able to present quality evidence to succeed or to continue to succeed in your asylum claims. Then the major diaspora, Tamil diaspora groups have to take the refugee issue as an important campaign issue. Then they have to, and other groups and the community have to work with major political parties to raise this as an important issue, and to bring pressure on the Tory government and ask them to review if they have changed the policy at all. their policy on Sri Lankan asylum seekers, and to get more asylum success for the Sri Lankan asylum seekers. I think these are the major points that we want to put forward on this conference. Unless any questions, we can conclude this session. And I think tea is there. So yeah, we should have tea and biscuits now. Thank you.